Ciao, Star Seekers. Welcome to a moment of profound celestial anchoring. This is Drawing Down the Stars, a space where we don't just talk about the stars. We draw down their power for daily life and to align with higher intelligence in order to claim our rightful place amongst the heavens. I'm your guide, Gemma. Today, we stand at a threshold of a truly potent lunation. On this January new moon, the sun and moon will meet in the lunar mansion of Uttarashadha at 4 degrees and 31 minutes in Capricorn. This isn't just another new beginning. This is the asterism of universal connection, or also known as the moon of later victory. And it arrives with an entourage, quite a bit of an entourage actually, a powerful 5-planet conjunction of the Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. And at the time of this new moon, it's not just a conjunction in the sign of Capricorn. It is literally a multi-layered planetary alignment within the soul lunar mansion of Uttarashadha. And the reason that's so important is that gives literally 13 degrees for these planets to sit on top of one another. And they are stacked just precisely within this grouping of stars in this asterism. So here they are in ambitious Capricorn, and it marks the point of a spiritual reset, a collective recalibration, if you will. It calls for clear vision, spiritualized actions, and an unwavering energy. The channels of passage, which I've talked about in the 11th moon, if you'd like to go deeper into the lunar months and how to apply them, you can subscribe to my Substack, Lunar Sync. But this is part of the theme of the 11th month of moving through portals of passage and in through time. But let's go deeper, because these portals and channels that are cleared not only agriculturally, but mentally, physically, and spiritually, symbolize the channels of passage of the nadis, or the channels of the subtle bodies, the flow of energy currents in order to receive prana, life force. It is also indicated as the 7 portals. And for those of you that follow me or that are in tune with the 11th month, we know that this month is marked and overseen by the god Janus, who guards the threshold of portals. Well, here we are as a human evolution, the 5th humanity, if you will, marked by moving through the 7 portals. Now, what are these portals? These portals are, think of it as soul consciousness or passages, and they are leading the aspirant across the waters, or essentially on the other shore. They hold within them the mystic keys. And it is the energy of the passage through this portal that enlivens the soul. It is the passage of the soul consciousness that awakens into these gates. The key of this is we are now at the 5th portal. And I want to just touch on those that are numerically connected or speak through numbers. Capricorn is the 10th house. It's also known as the 5 of 5 or 5 plus 5. And this is just going to give us a better understanding of not only the nature that is unfolding within this month, but also a little bit more of a mystical and esoteric insight into Capricorn. 5 plus 5 is the odd number when we're talking about Pythagorean numbers, but the 5 plus 5 is a dual part of action. 5 representing the action, the culmination, the protection, right? We have the 5 elements, the pentacle, the hand, etc., etc. And now we have this doubled, the attainment, right? But we also get to see this in this position is duality, right and left, above and below. So here in this 5th portal is the portal of dauntless energy. And it is the passage in which we must fight our way to the supernal truth, where we break through the mire of terrestrial illusion. Without this energy, which we know it as the supreme energy that knows no defeat, then everything is revealed. This is a passage where it takes dauntless energy and a clear vision in order for man in this evolutionary journey to balance himself in the extreme pairs of opposites. This star, Uttarashadha, is a star of enlightenment. This position amongst the stars within degrees. Now remember, we have 5 planets in this position, is a position of time-based or time-directed conscious ascension. Let me say that again. Consciousness, ascension, or retraction. It is a dual nature. We see that dual nature represented in Capricorn, the sea goat, the tail that goes to the depths of the sea, and the goat that climbs to the mountaintops. The mountaintops representing spiritual ascension, the depths of the sea representing the multifaceted layers of the depths of humanity, the above and below. We also know in Capricornian nature to be determined, driven, relentless. And that is because it is marked by this portal. So here we stand into this spiritual reset at the threshold of unwavering energy for spiritual perception and terrestrial integration. So let's dive in. Let's go even deeper into the essence of this lunar mansion and these positions of the planets in Uttarashadha. Let's unfold what January, or the 11th lunar month, has in store for us collectively and how we can draw it down further. This position embodies sacred duality, as I previously mentioned. It's the highest peak of spiritual aspiration to the deepest trenches of human experience. It's the bridge between the mountaintop and the ocean floor, between heaven and earth, between the spiritual and the profane. It's the energy that asks us. It is the passage that is flowing through us. Can you hold a vision of the summit while fully acknowledging the depths of your human existence? This is the energy that fights its way through terrestrial illusion. And I really want to point back, if you weren't listening to my previous reading, last month, the 10th lunar month in December, the new moon began literally at the gate of God. We only have one of those positions amongst 363 degrees. That was the passageway into seeking higher knowledge. Here we are moving through another portal that is going to work into our vision, into action. Now, this is the energy that refuses to be defeated by the world's contradictions. Global, look around. Let's take a moment and see what is occurring in our world around us. There is a powerful opposition of higher intention and personal gain. Within us spiritually, it is this position that marks our recalibration as a collective. So without the spiritual remains the dormant. Without the higher vision remains the purposeless. This is the point where we start to get clear in order to merge them. This new moon will deliver a fiery spark in spades with Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. This lunar mansion is ruled by the sun. We are picking up a lot of outward positive energy. Mars here is going to give us that dauntless energy. It is going to give us the fortitude in order to act. It will give us the power to stand within the unseen. The absolute real self in this position is fixing its gaze from the higher consciousness of the mountain to the lower depths to reveal a path and the actions that need to be implemented, as well as in order to achieve the balance of these dual forces, the above and the below, the within and the without. Remember, this is a dueling aspect. It is a highly spiritualizing position, but it is a dual aspect. Within this point, we have a spiritual unfoldment that, of course, requires energy. Spirit speaks in energy. Herein lies the multi-layered energetic influence. The fortitude that will arise from Mars is going to challenge disbelief in stable, quote, cultural mechanisms or the structures that have been established that's going to challenge certain things. That's Mars's nature. Challenge, overcome the enemy, especially in Capricorn, but take the higher goal and make it happen. The fortitude from here is going to not only challenge the mechanisms, but it's going to cause the mind to look in from the spiritual perception. Remember, Mars does not sit alone. He sits with 4 other influences. The 11th month and the new moon in Uttarashadha is going to take this spiritual reset and move it into the externalization of universal principles. This position, again, the universal connector, as these stars are known as, is going to seek the externalization of universal highest. So the new moon here was going to shift our relentless pursuit in order to elevate oneself and develop higher principles. This is imperative. Now, within the spiritual reset is a recalibration, as I had mentioned, and we all can feel it within ourselves, as we can all see it in our collective world. It's a part of the process in which this period of our collective human evolutionary development, Uttarashadha, this lunar mansion, will lead us to universal order and cosmic unity. We're not there yet. We are moving towards it. But this is a position in which the individual begins to open oneself to becoming the all, welcoming the all. It is such an important pinnacle point. When I say spiritual reset and collective recalibration, we are sparking more profoundly to move more in our actions from vision that is not me, myself, and I, but us, we as a collective. Last month, I mentioned that the ordering of subgroups is going to pick up pace. Boy, have we not seen that already. Already has that not come true? People mobilizing together, not as individual pursuits, but for a collective good. And we will see more of that. That is such the power of this position. Now we enter into this greater consideration of all. And it's going to ask for action-driven purpose, for spiritual emanations to echo through the action. Imagine like if you were to toss a stone into a placid, still lake. Now it's going to ask that every toss that you toss that stone into a lake, you want those ripples to be well-intended and in alignment. No longer are we just throwing stones to see how far it can go or how big, how wide can the ripple be. The effects now become more intention, and the effects are connected to unification. We are transitioning from not just mere action, but intentional action in orientation of unity, not individuality. This is the gift of these planets together. Though they are combust, they make a beautiful amalgamation, both in timing and the projection and influence of these stars. So what does this spiritual reset actually look like in our day-to-day? What is it actual in its embodiment? Well, we're all being asked to reevaluate our sources of defined success, our mechanisms of order, our visions of attainment within material versus our achievement within spiritual. What is the material world once substantiated as achievement can very quickly feel hollow, especially if you have a key planet that is echoing within the same stars. This is going to be really seen through Venus and Mercury within this position. So the mind under Venus and Mercury are going to shift our perception, our enjoyment, our orientation towards achievement versus attainment. It is going to be a bit of a solar combustion. They're pretty close to the stars, but it's going to cause us to ask the question. It's going to cause us to retract away from the deluded, away from the distractions, and away from the mind's entrenchment into the depths. It's going to say, all right, if you're so deep into the waters, and maybe you're getting tossed around, we all are, can you go into the highest of the highs? Can you reach that mountaintop? Because these positions and these planets will uplift the mind and the eye to look within the spiritual perception. We will feel a fracture within the mainstream. Because this position, though it is a very spiritualized position, and I talked about its duality, it also indicates destruction. There will be a fracturing and a destruction. But it's asking that intentions and spiritual vision, not only in action, not be held to what fractures, but that you stay in alignment. Keep on. So, this retraction is going to shift the mind, as I mentioned, spiritual perception, but it will also fracture New Age knowledge. It's going to create a fracture in the worldly dueling versus like the worldly and the holy. We are seeing this. It's just going to pick up a little bit more pace. It's putting a little more gusto into it, right? So you can organize yourself accordingly. So the fracturing of New Age modeling can be a doubt within power structures, a doubt over structure over the individual, seeking more to be collective and not to be guided. We'll see sovereignty pick up pace, as we have already seen and as we have been moving towards personal sovereignty. But we're also going to see the fracturing of tech. Now, the reason this is because Rahu, the North Node's position, is very unique amongst the stars in Aquarius, and it's creating a backwards kind of pole that's going to give us another purview into fracturing of not only technology structures. Now, I want to point this out. We're going to see a fracturing of like company structures of how they once were held together and how we sourced them for knowledge. So yes, very much AI. We'll see fracturing of monetary structures are going to start to pick up a little bit more pace. And what I mean fracturing is we're going to see into it, but I do think that they will have a physical fracturing. So if you're reliant on AI to do certain things, we're going to see kind of a different shift on power structures. Now, within the individuated, what this does is it pulls that resonant pull between the North Node, which governs our desires, what we're seeking, how we want to expand into innovation. I mentioned this a few months ago, but we're going to continue on the retraction or expanding the innovation of tradition. Of the ancient wisdom is seeking expansion, and that wisdom is going to quote unquote innovate, even though it's not new. So this pull towards sacred wisdom traditions and earth-based codes, lost keys, people trying to find footing in a new perspective in alignment with their purpose, in alignment with their spiritual aspirations. They're seeking not to be guided, but to align with those that are walking the same alignment, that those subgroups. So for you listening, listen to that pull. It is your soul aligning with its universal frequency. It is your soul's consciousness carrying you through that fifth portal of unwavering energy so you can walk into that vision of the highest mountaintop, into the depths of this worldly experience. This stellium in Capricorn is phenomenal. These aren't slow planets of karma. We don't have Saturn or Jupiter in this mix. This is the Sun, Moon, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. These are all co-creative planets that are closest to the Earth, Sun, and Moon. They are responsible for experiential forces that are molding karmic consciousness. They're saying, direct your experience from your spiritual catalyst. The message of Uttarashadha in this 11th month is the externalization of universal principle. It's not enough to feel unity in meditation, to project spiritual ego, or hide into the comfortable confines of the like-minded, or what we call a kula. Uttarashadha, these stars are spirit and matter. And though sometimes symbolically is represented as a four-post bed of reprieve, it's a spiritual reset within the human evolution, not an individual reprieve. We must build with our hands, speak it with our words, and enact it through our relationships. It is the highest mountains as symbolized across the myths: Meru, Olympus, Kailash. Spiritual ascension is futile unless it uplifts within to the without. We are transitioning from the ripple of individual intent, remember the waves on that placid lake, into the power of expansion collectively, an action-oriented unity. Now, every action you take now must be considered. Is this driven by purpose? Does this emanate in consideration of the whole? Are we learning to act from the mountaintop of vision to bring clarity into the fields of our daily lives, into the depths of all aspects of humanity? Are we unified in one in spirit and mind, but also in earthly execution? Lastly, these forces will hold through the layers of the mind. It's going to permeate every aspect of objectives, goals, and it is going to echo along the planes of consciousness. There is no other way for Capricorn to operate. That is why Capricorn has this nature, because of the stars that define it. It's now that we put this communication into building a skill of higher vision into earthly application, the application of unity. These dual forces from this perspective is the aim of the duality, in order to balance the human perspective into the power of being and emanating and doing. It is the united power. For those of you with the moon, sun in the beginning of Capricorn, in Uttarashadha, you will feel this most potently. Secondary to you, your moon, if your moon occupies the degrees of 26 degrees of Leo to 10 degrees of Virgo, this will affect you as well. Lastly, if your moon is at 26 degrees of Aries to 10 degrees of Taurus, you will feel this in a goal orientation, a pleasure way, and in Virgo to Leo, it will be self in relation to others and aspiration. So the three of you, for those of you, in those three positions of the moon, this is a very, very powerful and profound position for you. Not only is it the 11th month for all of us, but it will echo a little bit more into your 159, self, creation, and Dharma. Now, if you don't know your moon's lunar mansion, you can click on the link below I've provided. If you are looking to work with your moon and your lunar mansion for this upcoming year from March 2026 to February 2027, I've also included a link below. I'm offering a personalized lunar calendar based off of your moon chart. So you just click on wherever your moon lives. And then if you need to understand the depths of your moon and how it shapes your karma, your spiritual pursuits, the qualities, and your personality, I've also released a Lunar Mansion Codex, and you can just tap into that as well. Now, as we sign off, do you see now the power of the sea goat of Capricorn? Do we see now the profound point of these stars? That is the journey of this moon. And as you leave this podcast, I want to leave you with a few things of application, sempre. Ask yourself the dauntless question. Where in my life have I accepted defeat, and where can I apply my dauntless energy that is waiting to be unleashed? Make the bridge, build a ritual. Resurrect the lost wisdom within you, the guidance that is held within your heart. Let your actions be of sacred connection. And lastly, allow the communication of unity to resonate not only within you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, but allow others to feel it. Your listening to connect is a call for reconnection for all of us. We are all connected, as above, so below. Allow yourself to be uplifted into the collective and allow the collective to uplift you. With all of my love, ciao a tutti. Until next time, I've included the links to my website. I hope you join me. I have numerous retreats coming up. And this year I will be re-releasing the teacher training of Svara Yoga, as well as understanding the Tantric cosmology into the energy body. So I hope you stay tuned. You can check out my classes on Yoga Download, etc., etc. Follow me on Instagram. It's always a pleasure to be a part of your journey. Ciao.